This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am here with Thomas Christopher Bielecki and Cameron Bielecki over here. Cameron Christopher Bielecki. We are at Cafe Bar Pasta, and I think the first question I'd like to ask is, what the hell is Cafe Bar Pasta?
Very good question. It seems to be a question on everyone's mind. We are a cafe by day, we are a bar in the middle of the afternoon, and then we segue beautifully into our dinner service with our executive chef, Jay Scaife.
Now, it does confuse many people because many assume that we're looking at a generic Italian restaurant here, and I would say that it was anything but. How would you explain what you do here?
I mean, again, perception is everything. Name of pasta being the most commonly used Italian phrase in, I would say, the Toronto dining culture, throws us into that category of being an Italian restaurant. However, we're not. We are Japanese, French, and Italian influence of our food, and I mean, I'm Polish and Canadian, and so is our chef, being more Canadian. My wife being Portuguese, and embracing on the Italian influences, if you will. I mean, such as our carbonara, our agnolottis, but having some playful and meaningful elements with Jay's three-way traditional training.
Now, you have had a change in chef since you first opened. How long have you been open for now, Thomas?
We're pushing January, will make us a year and a half new.
Right, and if I had some friends who had been in here when you first opened and left with a bit of a bad taste in their mouth, you now have Jay Scaife in the kitchen.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about him.
There's lots to say about Jay. It was as crazy as it sounds. It was love at first sight, as some may say. We sat at my backyard and we chatted amongst men and spoke on food and the dining scene in Toronto, and we had a lot of similarities where we feel are not being properly met in Toronto, in which helped us and rather helped him understand the concept of Cafe Bar Pasta. This is a tiered level program in terms of trying to become a multiple store option, with Cafe Bar being the brand and pasta being the first installment. Hopefully Cafe Bar Fish and or Cafe Bar Meat is in the near future, as we have some big interest in that. But Jay's understanding of food is something not amongst the same style of chefs that are in the city. He's about consistency. He's about a little bit of an old, a little bit of a new in terms of traditional methods, and he understands the diner, which is great. He has a ton of front of house experience, being all the way up in Muskoka, up at Taboo. He's probably got more experience front of house than I do, in which we're able to really pass the torch, if you will, and help understand each other in terms of the flow of the dinner and the flow of the guests, but more importantly, understanding what the guest wants and their needs. So, the food that he's able to produce is simple. It's nothing that's, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just the consistency has got to be met, and he tries to exude that in his food and his dishes.
And what's your background? Where were you before you opened Cafe Bar Pasta?
I was with a group that seems to be expanding amongst the horizon on a daily basis. I roll my eyes. Some that know who they are do the same, and I was burned badly. I was with a restaurant group. I wish them well, but end of the day, I had to work on my own things. So I was trained by some of the best in the business, and was able to take what they taught me and harness my skill set. And then my father and I opened up a St. Louis bar and grill on Bremner Boulevard, and we then saw what the masses were able to do based on proximity to the Sky Dome, and then segue back into this restaurant group, being told I was beyond the bar and grill game, and so I was brought into restaurants such as Cultura, Nude, Colburn Lane, Italian, Burlington, and helped evolve and grow my skill set. And now I'm here. I've opened up my dream of owning my own restaurant, and hopefully he takes over one day. But it's whether a good resume is something to reflect upon and or not. You got to take it in stride. This is an ever-learning business, or rather an ever-growing business. You never know where your strengths are until you actually are met face to face with them. Whether it's being strong with people, understanding their needs, understanding the culture of the dining scene in Toronto, or just sticking to your guns and saying this is what we do, and focusing on that and seeing if they appreciate it as much as you do.
What would you say the most important lessons are that you have learned since opening Cafe Bar Pasta as a restaurateur?
Ooh, good question. The most important things that I've learned: being patient. This isn't a business that you can. This isn't a business that you can just jump into and think that you're going to make money, and that wasn't my focus. It was building a product and trying to exemplify consistency from food to service to ambiance in a neighborhood that's in need of, but really growing with the patience and people. And having patience with this guy as well has helped me and teach me rather the nature of this business. It's a beast. It can really own and dominate you if you're not careful, and it will slip away from you. I mean, I'm fighting a cold right now, and there's no sleep for the wicked. You have to continue to fight the fight and be on your game and be focused with everything that's thrown at you.
One of the things that I've noticed is that many people don't even know that Cafe Bar Pasta exists. You're hidden away down here, a little bit further west on Dundas West. And how do you feel about that? What have you noticed over the year and a half that you've been open about your location, about your kind of visibility on the Toronto restaurant scene?
You know what? I can only say this: we opened up with the wrong chef. I wish him well, and I think that's what it really was. I think that a little bit of the name, although I still don't understand how the perception of cafe, bar, and pasta being as literal as the name is in terms of what we do here, is taken so many people the time to really say, I get it. The neighborhood's very new. Brockton Village is where we are. We are in between Lansdowne and Dufferin, and a little bit of a bubble. You have some great new restaurants opening up. You have some people that have been fighting the fight in a non-existent neighborhood with small density, small neighborhood traffic, walk-bys as well, minimal retail. You better have a really substantial product in order for destination to be the real base of your business. But opening up the way we did, with a year of window treatment and me hitting the streets, being at events, parties, and galas and gatherings, handing out our cards and speaking to people of what we're doing, and then opening, and then simply 7 weeks later letting go of our chef, it sends a very confusing message to the general public and to your diners and or potential diners. It's very easy in the city to say, oh, it's not very good, and or oh, my friends went. I challenge people to say, have you been? What is your perception of the restaurant? Because the people that are here now that believe what we're doing have truly embraced what we do as a restaurant. And the addition of Jay Scaife late also challenged what's up, buddy? Also challenged the customers to come back to say, hey, there's new reason, there's new life in the restaurant. So Jay's not a huge household name, not that was in the budget or that was the focus, but I think that he's amongst some of the top chefs in the country. Jay just recently won Best Chef in Now magazine, which has been very exciting for us, and recently receiving a great review from the Toronto Star, Amy Pataki. Those add elements to the business, but again, it's a growing neighborhood. It's very difficult to see where it's going. There is a lot of retail space available, so it's a new neighborhood, and I hope it to become an old and cherished neighborhood once everything starts to become.
Well, Thomas, those were some very mindful answers there, and some thrilling commentary from young Cameron down here. We look forward to catching up with you at some point in the future, and hopefully getting a chance to dine here once again. Thanks, and bye for now.